From 1916 to the early 1930s, more and more Black people created new lives in northern cities west of the Mississippi River. Violence, the reality of lynching, and discrimination pushed thousands to leave places like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, and Arkansas. Black people were advancing and prospering with great achievements, socially, politically, and economically, in spite of Jim Crow policies and practices.
It was horrible. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Coming from Mississippi, the worst state in the Union, we went through some things that I wouldn't want anybody else to go through. When we went into the store, we had to go through the back door. If we was buying clothes, we couldn't try them on. Either they fit or they didn't fit. And so, it was just horrible. In the names that we were called back then down south, it was horrible. Either you was a gal, a coon, a nigger, and you just get tired of that kind of treatment.
We need to know about our history. We need to know things that we're being taught now by Pastor Harvey. We need to know that, and so that we can be able to tell those who are coming along under us. They need to know what went on, what's going on, and what need to happen.
But cities across America were also witness to racial terror in 1919, including Omaha, and as witnessed in the violent backlash for Black advancement in the Greenwood community of Tulsa in 1921. But the allure to Omaha was opportunity. Jobs in industries like the railroad and the packing house, which offered better wages, and educational opportunities that meant better futures for Black children. In the midst of all of this, God spoke to the heart of Reverend J.C. McFarland, leading him to organize a church. In a building on South 13th Street between Pacific and Pierce, in a city with little under 200,000 people at the time, this church, the Mount Nebo Missionary Baptist Church, was founded. In 1922, Reverend McFarland and the congregation of Mount Nebo selected a new place of worship on the north side of Omaha at 26th and Franklin Street. Reverend McFarland served as pastor until 1924. Having been called to another pastorate, he moved from the city of Omaha. In the fall of 1924, a call was extended to Reverend Frank K. Union by the members, and he served as their pastor for 11 years. But beginnings are never easy, and during Mount Nebo's early history, there were many difficulties in establishing a permanent place of worship. Though Omaha afforded northern opportunity, housing discrimination, and ownership were still difficult to navigate in this growing Black community in Omaha. The rental property at 26th and Franklin Street was sold by its owner, and a temporary place of worship was needed. Here we see the power of community demonstrated with the members of the Freestone Primitive Baptist Church on 26th and Caldwell Street, who made available use of a small annex at the rear of their church for Mount Nebo to continue to meet. During this time, the Spring Hill Baptist Church on 33rd and Emmett Street lost its pastor. A call was given by the members of Spring Hill to Reverend Union, who was still serving as pastor of Mount Nebo, and he accepted. During a business meeting, the two congregations voted to consolidate and become one congregation. The unified body worshiped at 33rd and Emmett Street for 7 years until the building was destroyed by fire in 1933. In the book of Acts, it is told that the church was held oftentimes in the homes of various believers, and so we find that true of Mount Nebo. The home of Mrs. Cornelius Wood which was located on 32nd and Pinckney Street, served as another place of worship. But this large Victorian home soon became too small, and in 1933, Mount Nebo purchased the property at 3211 Pinckney Street. Reverend Union became ill and passed away on November 20th, 1935. The other pastors that would follow were Reverend Columbus Union, Reverend Joseph Gates of Council Bluffs, Iowa, Reverend Otto Pruitt, Reverend James P. Mosley, Reverend Foster S. Goodlett, Reverend Ernest Benson, Reverend Claude C. Williams. And as a collective, these pastors all contributed to the foundation of Mount Nebo as a body of people living in a community, oftentimes during great hardship. America endured the stock market crash, a Great Depression, storms, natural disasters, and racial trauma. These leaders would lay the groundwork for the mission work that went into people's homes to provide care and prayer, as well as the systems of providing clothing and food for members and the community. When women were ill or needed care, women from the congregation at Mount Nebo would go into their homes to do that work, cooking, cleaning, and caring for children until they were recovered. Men who worked in the mill or at the packing house delivered flour or meat, and people shared from their gardens so that no one went without. Under their leadership, Mount Nebo learned what it meant to love one another.